What's going on, Junkies? Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, and this week we're going to be talking about the games that we never get tired of playing in honor of the PlayStation Plus. I mean, not PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Classic going on sale for $39.99, and we kind of wanted to revisit some classic games that we know you and we all never get tired of. Also, it's pre-Valentine's Day, so we can give our heartfelt Valentines to some of our favorite genre culture stuff, and also talk about the Marvel announcements and the upcoming Battle Angel Alita movie. But joining me on the show today is the illustrious GQ, who's back from break. How you doing, sir?
Hey, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Sitting here in my new foam rubber shirt. So there you go.
What? Stand up a little bit. Let me see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. What you got there?
It's a foam rubber shirt, man.
Oh,
wow! Foam rubber sleeves. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh man, this looks like almost like a sauna suit over there, man. You're gonna be starting to sweat real.
Hey, I will be fine because cooler than a fan, man. Cooler than a fan.
Cooler than a fan. I love that. That's awesome. Also joining the show is Great Daddy Kuji. What's up, brother?
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Do you have a great weekend?
I think it went well. I had to work, so you know how well it can go when you got to work, right?
Right. So let's see. I don't know if looks like we're not live on Facebook. I'll have to fix that real class. I don't know what's going on there. But meanwhile, while we're waiting and getting Facebook going, I kind of wanted to engage all of you out there that are watching us on YouTube or Twitch. Some late breaking news, like some stuff that just dropped. Nintendo just announced that they're going to be making a a remake of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I feel super excited, not except for, there's no except. I love the Zelda, the series of games. I own quite a few of them. I've beaten a few of them. And I own Link's Awakening, and I have never played it. And I kind of feel like, should I have played it? Should I play it now? Would you guys watch me stream it if I play it? And also stream the new one when that comes out, because it's a game sitting in my collection that's going to get played. And I want to play it, but it's kind of like exciting and at the same time sad because I never played that one. But I think I got time before it comes out.
What about you, GQ? You excited about another Legend of Zelda game?
Zelda is a hit or miss thing with me. I'm one of the few people in the world that probably didn't like Zelda Ocarina of Time when I first got it, because I felt that I was promised being able to play adult Link from the beginning of the game, and I'm running around listening to a fairy try to get me to listen to everything. So Zelda, like Toon Link and all that, is I don't like it. So most of the Zelda games that came after Ocarina of Time I didn't play. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I might give it a go around if I stop by a Great Dad Kuji's house or something. But Zelda is just one of those franchises that just kind of like, I don't know. I like the first one, and that was kind of about where it ended.
Really? Wait. So wait. Stop. So that precludes you not liking A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. Is that true?
No, I didn't like it. I mean, here's the thing with me and Zelda. The first Zelda was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Big, massive, sprawling overworld, and then you got the dungeons and everything to go through, and 2 different songs for the entire, 3 different songs technically, but for the duration of most of your journey, you had 2 different songs keeping you company. Zelda 2 was a departure. It was kind of annoying. And then once Zelda 3 came around, I was busy playing fighting games. Like I always stayed more on the fighting game side of things, or the action, side of things when it came to like, your Castlevanias. And as Dido says, I need to still play Symphony of the Night one of these days, or at least play through it. But
that's your Fifth Element, dude.
What is going on here?
I played the game. I just haven't beat it. So.
Yeah. Like the dudes over in Facebook are like, bro, we about to have words. Like, are you serious right now? I can't believe this right here. What?
They can have whatever words they want, because again, it comes back to Zelda does not fit into what I like to play. It's not my type of game.
Which is still just weird hearing that. That saying it's not a true statement. It's just weird.
I know, right?
Hearing that.
I know. That's just odd, dude. I don't get it. Man, I don't know. Man, if only Miao Yin was here, I wonder what she'd have to say. But, you know, in any case, she will be joining the show later on. She's not here right now. But yes, Matthew P. Sartland, yes, Link's Awakening is really coming to the Switch. That was just announced probably not even half an hour ago. Sharita Jackson, welcome back to the show. Happy pre-Valentine's Day to you.
Hey, Sharita.
What would you, out of all the geek stuff that we have seen this year, and this isn't something that I made a topic for, so let's go ahead and Beth Griswold, wow.
Zelda is boring.
Zelda is boring. Wow.
I guess I can understand that, but it sounds like to me it's coming from a place of, you know how there's two type of gamers out there. There's gamers that play everything, and then there's gamers that hate things that are popular. So they don't play anything, but they're gamers. It sounds like it's coming from that space because, you know, I can understand, you know, not liking every single genre, and that's fine because I don't like every single genre. I don't. But from one person who has played not every Zelda game, but, you know, the major ones, Ocarina of Time, I actually, you know, thought it was a dope adventure game. Just recently beat Breath of the Wild, which I thought was friggin' amazing, being the fact that it's open world and just so much stuff you can do. I thought that was great. You know, from Wind Waker to all of them. If you like adventure games, I guess that's something you like. But I know, you know, you can like or dislike something, but to be bored by an adventure game is just are you bored by all adventure games? What made it boring? That just sounds, that statement just sounds like a hater.
No, I get it, but you know what? Hey, you know what? I'll give Beth a pass. That's my girl. We go back and forth on Facebook a lot, and I appreciate her checking out the show. If this is her first time checking out the show, or if she's her first time commenting, way to drop a bomb, Beth. I appreciate it. Way to drop a bomb.
Well, again, anyway. I agree with Beth on some of the later Zeldas because I didn't like them. So that's just what it is. It's not even about hating on the popularity of it. It's just Zelda, the original, gave me a particular outlook on this franchise.
Right.
It's the same as my Castlevania Symphony of the Night bias.
Right.
I liked Castlevania 1, 2, 3, and of course 4. And then when you get to Symphony of the Night, it's like, I don't want to run through Castlevania as if it's a Metroid game. Yes, I understand Metroidvania is a very popular genre, but my Castlevania for me was a nice, fun, linear, go through it stage by stage, beat it, get done, go to the next game, you know, type of, you know, experience. Once they switched that up and again, I didn't mind playing Alucard, that was fine. But you drop way too many RPG elements on a game that I didn't like. You know, I didn't, you know, want to be an RPG.
Right.
So that was, you know, stuff like that. It always, you know, that will be things that turn me off and make me switch it up.
Tony Young, you ain't shit, dude. I just want to say that. Tony Young ain't shit. But hey, for real. No, Beth said it's her first time watching. And we definitely do appreciate you dropping in and dropping a bomb. So please come back, keep watching, keep dropping more bombs. I want to say what's up to Maurice Baker. Now, Maurice, I think, went to that. You guys heard about that that Super Saiyan noodle restaurant that they have down south or something like that. It's completely Dragon Ball themed. It's like a ramen shop. He went there and took some pictures of it and posted it in the Culture Junkies group. We should put it on the fan page at some point. I need to find that post and put it up there because it's pretty nice. It is pretty nice. But anyway, I wanted to since it's right before Valentine's Day, I forgot this as a topic and I wasn't thinking about it. Oh, Mo from Ready Player One is in the chat. What's up? He says Zelda games are mostly innovative and approachable. They're classics for a reason. Yeah, classics for some people. Apparently not Mr. High and Mighty GQ over there.
Oh, I got the mighty right. I'm not very high.
Wow, high. Yeah, dude, you high. You gotta be high. Anyway, like I was saying, it's pre-Valentine's Day, so of all the geek stuff that we've watched over or consumed over the past year, what would you want to give your Valentine's to? What do you like most appreciative of as far as movies? Like, it could be a movie, it could be a character, it could be something that happened or a company or something like that. So what would you give it to, Dido? What would you give your Valentine to right now, if you were to give a Valentine?
Give my Valentine to a piece of entertainment. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
Yeah, like what do you like really appreciate? Like, what do you love? What did you love so much this year? Like, what did you like,
talking
really,
about
really love?
January and February or last year?
No, I'm talking about over the course since last Valentine's Day. Over the course of this past year, what have you loved the most?
Dude, I played a shit ton of video games, man. It's kind of hard, but
you can't pick one thing that is like stuck
if
out.
One would have to stand out right now, and I'm not saying this because we just talked about Zelda, but Breath of the Wild was fucking amazing.
Okay, all right.
Serious.
That's cool.
It was a frigging a great, just a great game. I think they really did it real well with all the stuff that was going on with it, and I think that was probably out of the games that I beat, the 30 or the 18 or 19 games that I beat, that's the most memorable one, most definitely. Like, I quite enjoyed it.
Shannon Fontaine is joining the show, and she says her Valentine's is her iPad. Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Snatcher Not is over on Twitch. That's an awesome name, by the way. Snatcher Not. Hello, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being on. GQ, what would you give your Valentine to this year, other than Infinity War, which might take home all of the awards or whatever? I'm just kidding. Give it to whatever you want. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna give it to my Disney stock because it keeps rising.
This guy. Okay.
That's I'm sorry. Again, they have been on a 10-year hot streak. So
right.
I do not. Again, nothing else matters than this one. They can keep it going for the next 20 years, for all I'm concerned.
Cool. That is awesome. Like, man, a lot of people are joining the chat right now. Mo's in the chat saying YL's gonna, get on him for not playing Breath of the Wild yet. And Justin just checked in. What's up, sir? How are you doing? Oh man, Lee Haven Maloney is in the chat. What is going on? He says, Dido, what are you working on? A script with all them sticky notes?
The sticky notes, because I guess you have been watching it. The sticky notes have to do with the video games that I had planned to play. These right here are the ones that I still have to play. Those are the ones that I didn't play. These are some of the ones that I gotta do some reviews on. These are the ones I'm trying to sell. It's a lot of stuff going on over there.
So check it out, right? So after you answer that, I'm glad you said that. So the birthday boy, Big Pimpin' Jay's just popped up in the chat and said, "What in Jesus' name is GQ wearing right now?" So GQ, why don't you show it to him and explain it exactly what in the world it is you are wearing right now?
I don't have to explain it. He was there when I got it. Yeah. He was there when I got it. This is awesome.
God, look at that thing.
This is awesome, man.
Dude, that just looks hot. It's not just hot.
It's not. It's like foam rubber. It's got like foam rubber on the back. Dude, you could probably like run through like the snow in this. What is that?
Oh my god!
You could probably run through the snow in this, man.
Okay,
this thing is awesome.
Wait. How much did that run you? How much did that run you in Chicago?
$5. $5.
$5.
Dude. We were God, where were we at? We were out by a Best Buy, and there was a Foreman Mills out there. It was like okay.
It's a Foreman Mills, and you got that from a Foreman Mills?
Yeah. So we were like, okay, let's go in there and see if they got any, because I was looking for work pants like Dickies, those work clothes. Yeah. So they didn't, of course, again, they worse than Burlington. They didn't have nothing. So we walked past this when we first came in, and I'm just like that's awesome. That's so freaking hilarious because this had the foam rubber sleeves and it was all shiny. I'm like, this is as gaudy and tacky as you can get. So I was like, I was like, you just kind of look at it, and he's just, you walk past, go about what you're doing, and then went past. I was like, I should buy that though. I was like, I should buy it just because it's so stupid looking. And then I saw that it was $5. I'm like, dude, it's $5. I don't care. Yeah, let's go and get it.
That is freaking awesome. Yeah. I am not gonna lie. Lee Evan Maloney says you are the new king of R&B wearing that shirt.
Heck yeah.
Style and profile.
Nah. I'm about to drop my new mobile rap single like next week. So,
I love it. I love it. I love it. That man, Tony Young's like, that man is in a vinyl sweatshirt. That is awesome, dude. That is so freaking awesome, dude.
That's right. It's not velvet. It's not velvet, man. It's there you go. It's nice foam work and vinyl.
That is so freaking awesome. So anyway, guys. All right. So I don't know when Malion's gonna be able to join us. Hopefully she gets in, sooner before later. But let's jump into some of the topics that we need to cover for today. So first of all is the talk about the announcement of the Marvel adult animation series. There was 4 of them that were announced. When I initially heard them, I thought they were like live action series, and like the topics, or at least the ones that they're going to be based on, kind of turned me off. I wasn't really feeling them, but let's talk about them. So they're all going to be animated. You got a Howard the Duck animated show coming out, being headed by Kevin Smith. You got Tigra and Dazzler as an adult animation show that could be kind of over the top, sexualized, weird. Who knows? We'll see. We got MODOK as a series. Yes, that MODOK, the big head MODOK that you see in the lower left corner, headed by Patton Oswalt. And there was a 4th one. I forget what the 4th one was. I'll have to get back to you on which one the 4th one was. But anyway, 4 series, all animated, all adult themed. So of the 4, which ones interest you the most, if any at all?
This reminds me of when they tried to launch Spike TV, and they did Stripperella and Gary the Rat with Kelsey Grammer. I think it was the voice of Gary the Rat. And I don't know, it's odd, but it could be interesting. Howard the Duck could be fun if they can, keep some of the snark. Because his depiction in Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of weird. It was, I don't know, maybe it's because just the voice was off or, different. But I think the Tigra and Dazzler could be interesting. But I don't know. It just
depends on how they do it, right?
Right. And then MODOK, that's out of left field, but whatever.
For real. I mean, when I first heard MODOK was going to be an animated show, I was like, okay, where'd they get this from? What made them even think this might be a good idea? But it might be so off the wall, it might actually work. Because MODOK has become kind of like this, a punchline anyway. Marcus Smith says he has no faith in anything animated from Marvel. Now, I say you say that, right? You say that, but that's completely disregarding Superior Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man, excuse me, not Superior. Although Superior Spider-Man would be an absolutely fantastic show, I think too. Like the Doc Ock controlled Spider-Man, I think that could be pretty cool. But you're ignoring Spectacular Spider-Man. You're ignoring Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which was also fantastic. A lot of people are really loving the Black Panther series that's on right now. So, I mean, it's not like it's impossible for Marvel to make, good animation, and this is going to be their first turn at adult themed animation. So to me, it's worth the risk. It's worth a shot. I think it might be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, okay, here's how I see it. They're going to do something different. They're doing more universe and world building. I'm fine with that. Animation, honestly, on both sides has fallen off. As far as because DC's most recent animated offerings have kind of sucked. They used to be
You're talking about the movies, right?
Yeah, the movies that they had. Because that 10th anniversary pack that I have up there with everything from the I think it was Superman Doomsday all the way up to might have been whatever came before Gotham by Gaslight. Probably one of the Aquaman movies or something. Like, all those were good. Like, you know, all those were solid. You know, you were invested in it. You know, some of them had Andre Romano voice direction, Kevin Conroy's Batman, you know, stuff like that. Once they got to like Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, Batman Bad Blood, you know, some of those were just weak. And I'm just like, okay, y'all aren't as good as you used to be. So I mean, people saying that Marvel can't do animation, I agree with you for a lot of the earlier stuff that they've done. But again, this isn't stuff that I have any real invested interest in. So I mean, it's kind of like, hey, if you do something really cool, cool. It's not like any of these characters are somebody that is like, oh, you better get this right. It's like, I don't really care one way or the other. It's just show me something interesting.
Right. That'll weigh in. What do you think?
Well, if it's entertaining, then I can't say, because I agree with, you know, was it Tony Smith that said that? And I agree with
Marcus Smith said that.
Marcus Smith, excuse me. And I also agree with GQ in the aspects of, number one, well, almost agree with Marcus Smith. Marvel did have some decent, you know, animation stuff. It wasn't as good as comparable to DC's older stuff, 100%, because I enjoyed some of the stuff that I watched. Some of the movies like Doc Strange, Wolverine versus Hulk, some other stuff. They're not bad. And the Avengers, Mightiest, whatever one that was, I kind of enjoyed those. But at the same time, I don't really have any vested interest, I guess, the same way. It's just like, okay, they're putting these out there. Is this... And I don't know why my brain has to work in the aspect of how the cinematic universes work, where everything has to have some kind of connection, even if it's, you know, minor or small or not. But for whatever reason, because they started that crap, I expect everything to be sort of like that. And if it's not like that, it's like, does it really matter that I watch it or not? Because I tried to watch Cloak and Dagger, and it was like, okay, whatever. The Runaways, everybody says great, and it just started off really slow, and it didn't pull me in as much as I want to. I'm probably still going to jump back into it, but I feel like I'm not really missing anything if I don't watch it. Whereas like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though it got less and less over the time, it's still connected. We know Nick Fury is there. They know they put Sifa or whatever the hell her name was in there. It's in the same universe, but they're telling their own story, and you never knew if they were going to throw something in from the movies or not, because they did that with Captain America and the Winter Soldier. They really put that in there. So it's just, if I don't watch it, then all I'm missing out is potential great entertainment. So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, these characters, besides Howard the Duck,
right.
I don't like Howard the Duck is only known because of the movie that came out. I don't know anything about the comic book. I don't know how any of that stuff is. So I'm more interested in watching that because I'm familiarity with the character. Dazzler, on the other hand, I found out why they were making Dazzler, and 100% is ridiculous that they were trying. Dazzler was created because of disco back in the 70s, and they were trying to do a movie with disco and have freaking Cher in it and have the Village People and all that stuff in there.
It would have been bad. It would have been really bad.
Yeah, they were trying to do all that stuff, and I was just like, okay. And the Avengers is supposed to be in there too, and all this other stuff. Yeah, it was supposed to be Avengers, Village People, Cher, some other character. It was wild, dude. Watch Movie Bob. Movie Bob did the whole thing on even though I'm glad they didn't do it. It was supposed to be crazy, but that's why Dazzler is around. I'm like, am I supposed to be interested in Dazzler? And the only other time I remember her is in two things: the video game X-Men Arcade video game. They put her in there, if I remember correctly. That was Dazzler.
The X-Men.
Yeah, the X-Men. The what do you call that one?
1987 pilot.
The pilot that they did with Wolverine. Apparently was Australian for some reason. Yeah.
But no, look. I think Dazzler as a character could be pretty cool, and I wonder how they're gonna do the whole Tigra Dazzler dynamic, because Tigra has been a long running Avenger, like especially back in the 80s up through the 90s, and of course she's basically the launching pad for almost everybody's furry obsession. If you're a comic book, no, I'm being serious, man, because she's basically a pinup girl in tiger fur. Like literally, that is who she is.
Wow.
She's got a tail. She's furry. She's got pinstripes, and she runs around in a bikini. Like literally, that's it.
I don't know what this tiger. I'm gonna have to look up this tiger. I don't know what she looks like.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
I thought that was a DC character. I could have sworn I'd seen that with Wonder Woman.
Cheetah.
No, you're thinking of Cheetah.
They look fucking like.
They look basically the same.
They do look basically the same,
right.
except for Cheetah doesn't wear anything. She's just covered by fur. And Tigra, I guess, is more enticing because she wears a bikini. I don't.
Dude, I think if furries look like that, I'd be more interested. I don't want to see a fucking fursuit.
Wait a minute, dog. Wait a minute.
I said it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
she look. It's not a fucking fursuit. It's like it's a woman that,
right,
for lack of a better sense, could have a fucking tail butt plug and some tattoos.
Okay.
This went left like really fast. I think I'm gonna move on now.
But it is. Come on.
Yeah,
it's up to what's up to Simon Says and Williams J in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Guys joining the fun.
Right, I think it's time to move on. So we're moving on. Alita Battle Angel comes out tomorrow officially. Obviously, Dido saw it last week, or was that 2 weeks ago? I forget.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. He saw it 2 weeks ago, and even back then they were projecting that this thing was going to bomb and bomb badly. Now, the question I want to ask you guys is, if this bombs, is anime live action just pretty much through? Like, are they just not even gonna bother doing it? Because Ghost in the Shell has failed. We already know Dragon Ball Evolution failed, which it never should have been made in the first place. I know there's talks about doing a Gundam movie. There's always been talks about Robotech, which I think will never ever see the light of day. There's been talk of Voltron in a live action at some point. I just think that if this thing bombs, it might put a nail in the coffin in American anime adaptations. I think a lot of studios are going to be too afraid. So I know, Dido, I know you have some pretty strong feelings about it, and so do you, GQ. So actually, yeah, I want to hear from you, Dido, because you saw the movie already. What do you think about this notion?
Well, I don't know what the reviewers. It's the reviewers' fault, and you got a lot of dummies out there that listen to reviews instead of taking their own opinion about something. Because personally, I watch a review. That's just me. After I see the movie, just to see what they could be talking about and the reason why they say that they say. There's no reason for me to watch a review before I watch a movie, because I want to make my own opinion about it, not be freaking, put off by somebody else's. And I think that's just dumb. But majority of humans, minus, I don't know if it's opinion, minus experience, they go off of somebody else's word before taking their own opinion about stuff, and I think that is why a lot of things are the way they are. But I digress on that. Going back to the topic, is that I like Alita, Battle Angel, whatever. I really did. I think they did a really good job. The special effects were friggin' amazing. I think it was done real well. I watched the OVA after I watched the movie, and though the OVA, it pales in comparison to the manga, I'm assuming this pulls more from the manga, because there was stuff that was not in the OVA. I think it was stuff that was just done better. The character development and certain aspects were done a lot better, especially comparing it to the OVA. Like, there was no character development in the OVA. It was just like, that's what it was. But they, I think Alita, she developed as a character. The love interest did. The only thing that I had a slight tinge with, the slight problem, was how it came around. It didn't seem as organic as it could have been, because if you watched James Cameron's, granted he didn't direct this, but he did have something to do with it, his other love movie, Titanic, that's when so many people, it got blew up, because so many couples were going to see it, and the women, they talk. I don't hear dudes ever talk about Titanic. It's always women. Always great. Yeah, I mean, I personally have never seen it, but it had a love story in it, and apparently it was done well enough to be somewhat believable. And this one was not as believable as it could have been, but it's also a science fiction movie, and that wasn't really the main focus of it, I guess you could say. And I think they did real well. I think it's getting bad reviews because in today's age, I do not believe 100% that people like sci-fi, original, unless the science fiction is something that has been
established, like Star Wars and Star Trek.
Exactly. They do not give a shit about it now. Because personally, I didn't see Jupiter Ascending. I know that some might have seen it, said it sucked. I want to take my own opinion for it, but I did watch Valerian, and yes, I had a problem with the two main characters. They didn't seem like they really worked well together, but I still like the story of the movie. I like the science fiction of the movie. I like the special effects. I like the setting. All that stuff made it, to me, a worthy science fiction movie, except for the two lead characters. They could have picked, or the director could have gotten more out of them, which he did. I guess he did the best that he could, because the actors just weren't that great. But I just don't think people like science fiction.
And you know what? You bring up a really good point, because let's walk it back, right, GQ, and I'll get to you in a second. So let's walk it back a little bit. Let's revisit some of the mostly original sci-fi-ish movies that have come out over the past 4 or 5 years. Valerian failed. Jupiter Ascending failed. Ghost in the Shell failed. What are some other original? There was another one. Wasn't Valerian, but Blade Runner 2045.
Oh yeah, failed. And the original Blade Runner failed in the theater.
Exactly, right. So it's like you might be on to something unless it's like mainstream popular sci-fi. It's like it doesn't really get a chance to succeed. Like even that movie Ken, that I was really interested in, starring that boy that found that really futuristic gun, that failed. Failed. Going back to, even if you want to go back even further, let's see, I don't know how Star Kid was received back in the day, but that might have been remember the kid found that almost like Guyver suit, it was like a kiddie sci-fi movie. I think even that failed in the movie theater. So you might be onto something there. But GQ, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because you said you had an interesting take on it.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily an interesting take. I think what the issue is you run into anybody that's saying that American anime or adaptations aren't going to be successful is thinking of it in the wrong terms, because it's like, okay, Battle Angel Alita is an obscure anime. It might be a popular manga, it might be a popular OVA from back in the day, but the average moviegoer, the average person, they think of anime, it's either Dragon Ball, Naruto, Sailor Moon, a couple of other things. But for the most part, Battle Angel Alita, some people might go in there thinking that, somebody just came up with this, last year, and it wasn't that great. And it's like, they have no idea that it's an anime. They might just be, thinking, hey, why her eyes so big? It looks like anime. It could be all those types of things. But it's like, you can't judge it as, anime adaptations are failures if you pick obscure stuff. It's like, okay, that's like saying, okay, we're going to pick Lupin the Third and Castle of Cagliostro and throw that up on the screen and judge all anime adaptations based on that. It's just like, you can't do that, because that's so old, for a lot of people obscure. It's just like, okay, they ain't even really, checking for it like that. So I think for them to try to judge anime adaptations based on a couple of ones that just didn't work, like Ghost in the Shell was already injured before it even got to the theater because of the whole whitewashing thing. So
Yep.
So it's like you taking, they're taking really obscure examples as to be the rule. It's like, these are exceptions, these aren't necessarily the rule. You guys haven't tried it with one of the heavy hitters outside of maybe a Ghost in the Shell, but even that's fairly obscure. Because
they did try it with Dragon Ball, and it was a terrible adaptation, granted.
But again, that goes back to, they tried it, but they didn't try it right. They just, Dragon Ball's kind of popular. Let's see if we can do something. And they threw it together, and it wasn't even close. It's like they gave it no real effort, in my opinion. It's like, okay. You can call something like this a failure when you have somebody that takes the time. Like, let's say, for example, let's say DreamWorks Pictures or let's say New Line Cinema gets in there, finds the right director, gets the right actors, cast, great cast, good budget behind it, faithful to the actual product, and it's a popular thing, not something just ain't nobody ever heard of. Like, let's say, like, okay, for example, let's say they do a Sailor Moon movie and they really, go in on it and do it right and big budget and, casting and follow a good story arc or something, and it flops. Then you can say anime adaptations might have an issue because you've at least taken something that everybody can just off rip recognize or be, somewhat familiar with, and they just didn't like it. But for them to take like Battle Angel Alita, that's like them taking like, Tenjo Tenge out of the blue. Just like nobody, it's like unless you really like that, nobody knows about that. People, it's like, come on, it's like that's one of those that just gets lost in the shuffle. Or even like the one that we watched way back in the day, Ping Pong Club.
Oh my god!
You couldn't would never be able to be done. No
that's
way.
what I'm saying. Though. But it's like
no
if they took, that's what I'm saying. If they took that, they're like, we're gonna do a Ping Pong Club that movie, and then, oh man, it didn't work. Anime must not work. You know how obscure and rare and weird that is, and off the wall that is.
No,
like, that's not even a good. That's not even a good way to judge it.
No, I totally hear you. No, and Marcus Smith kind of backs you up. He says, I never. He's like, I personally never even heard of the anime or anything until he saw the trailer in the movie. So there's something to that. So if Ghost in the Shell doesn't work, if Battle Angel Alita doesn't work, and we know that was James Cameron's pet project outside of Avatar, and Dragon Ball was a terrible thing that we should never ever speak of again. What could work? Like, if
I know what could work.
What could work, man? Cowboy Bebop.
Gunsmith. No, Cowboy Bebop. Gunsmith Cats, I think, could work because it's not set in sci-fi. It's completely realistic. Besides the point that the main character is 19 years old, but who cares? They don't have to be. She could be in her early 20s.
Age rally. I know they would. They
would age rally, and they would age Min May. They would Minnie May.
Minnie May. They would definitely age her up because there's no way they would let her boyfriend commit basically statutory rape on a regular basis. So
yeah, most definitely. But just watching the OVAs are the only thing that was ever released by it. Even though the manga went on for 6 years,
dude,
I think they should do that. They should bring that back, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure style, and do all of it. But regardless of that,
man, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Like, cause dude, like Gunsmith Cats as a manga was so freaking good.
Really good,
so good,
really good. And I think that one because it has no sci-fi in it. It takes place. First off, it takes place in America. It's about in Chicago. It's about a woman who is a gun nut. Like, she probably, in her basement. Like how my basement is full of video games, hers was full of guns and ammunition and all that shit.
Yeah, dude, she gets aroused by guns, dude. It's weird as hell, but
that probably awesome. Would fly in America because it's like, oh my gosh, they're like us, we like, so I can see that.
You bring up a real good point about because this country loves guns like that. That probably actually would work pretty well. You are right about that. GQ's over there smirking. What you gonna say?
You know what your problem is gonna be, Dido? Here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna greenlight your Gunsmith Cats, and here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna cast Scarlett Johansson. and they're gonna cast Scarlett Johansson and Mila Jovovich as your chief character.
Yeah, that's exactly what they would do.
Yeah, I can totally see them doing that.
Unfortunately, you have a great idea, but that's where they're gonna derail it right there. They're gonna hit it with
absolutely. You're absolutely right.
So.
Absolutely right. No,
they could actually do it though. They could actually do it. They just have to get it, not necessarily two unknowns, but you could get one good name draw and then one unknown, and then have Bean Bandit cameo.
Boy, get the hell out of here.
That way you hit your female demographic because it'll be a female-led movie. But then you get like Benicio del Toro to come in as Bean Bandit or something crazy.
He's too old. No, get somebody else. I mean, I like the pick if he was younger, but who would be like the best Bean Bandit? Like if you were to cast him like right now, like who's got that?
Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
Actually, probably the only person. I mean, that if I was a casting person, and granted he is in maybe not so much because what has he done this year? Last year he did about 5 movies. It seems like is Dwayne Johnson. I think he could be a good Bean Bandit, though he would probably look dumb with a wig.
No, I don't want the Rock to be. No,
he'd overshadow it.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, and that'd be the problem.
Yeah, because as soon as he shows up, the entire tone of the movie would shift for the audience, regardless of how established these two female leads are. He comes in and it's just like, oh, dude, now the movie is just shifted. Because if his cameo basically was a cameo. His cameo at the end of Why Did I Get Married 2 worked because it was just one. Yeah, it was just one quick scene, and that was it. It wasn't like he had a chance to be in the film for any length of time. Being Bandit comes in, you know he's going to be there for an entire action sequence. You know what I'm saying? Rock could have done that, like when he had that cameo in Reno 911's movie. That's when, like, if he was still at that level, then he could work as Being Bandit for a cameo, because it was like his cameo and that was so funny because you know, chasing that grenade in there and gets killed basically right away, or even like the other guy, or even like the other guys like him and Sam Jackson, beginning of the movie for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops, and they're gone. So, but it's I think if you bring him in now, it'd be too hard to do that, because then the very next thing you're gonna expect, when is The Rock gonna do that Ride and Bean movie?
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. They could do a Ride and Bean movie because Ride and Bean also had stuff going, so they could do it.
And
you would want a strong lead character then.
Yeah, you're right, dude. I remember watching what was that movie you referenced? What was the Tyler Perry movie that he guest starred in? Why Did I Get Married? Why did I get married too? When dude, that cameo, when The Rock hit, the women in the theater went berserk, dude. They did. They went berserk.
Tony Young is saying, what is his name? Taylor Hutchin or something like that. Shark Boy. He says he looks kind of like me.
Shark Boy.
No, never.
The kid from the Twilight movies. He was in
the Wolf Kid from the Twilight movie. He was in the Spy Kids
movie, I think, originally. But then he's like the werewolf. It's Taylor something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Larson.
Him, but dude,
Taylor Lautner.
Yes. Yeah, Taylor Lautner. Yeah, something like that.
He is falling off so far. No, don't even bother with it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Nope.
Why would be thinking about it? Because now I really want to cast this movie, because Rally and Mid-May would be like pretty.
Well, okay, right, but who would you? Wait. Which Rally would you cast? Because remember, Ride and Bean, you had White Rally,
Black
and
Rally.
Gunsmith Cats, you had. She's not black. She was Indian, Asian Indian.
Whatever. I don't care. Oh, that's right. She was Asian.
Yeah,
Indian.
she was Indian.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you have to go with White Rally. I'm just being honest. If she was black, you might have been able to get away with it.
Can you imagine?
That's a real. I don't know, man. I
think Mindy Kaling. Yeah. She just have to like lose a whole bunch of weight.
Never.
Wow. If he was going that route, I would have got my girl Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Her name.
A little bit too old,
yes,
isn't she?
Priyanka Chopra. Yes.
She would have been a perfect rally. But again, if we're going white, Scarlett's off the table. She does not count anymore. No, and then Mia Jovovich don't count either. Nope. So like those two are completely off the reservation on this pick. They cannot be chosen. Man, I guarantee you there's somebody that could do it. No, you can't have Jennifer Lawrence either.
Hell no, man. Please, no. Stop. Just stop.
Hannah Simone. Look her up.
Hannah Simone. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
What was she in?
New Girl. You know, she's probably too old too, because she's
Hey, you know what though?
Our age.
Tony Young said they gonna cast Rihanna if they were to do the Indian rally, which I mean, I can see them doing that, and them basically trying to make a rally racially ambiguous somehow, some way.
Rihanna's not racially ambiguous, dude.
I know she's not, but I'm just saying that, you know, they're just saying, oh, well, she passes for looking like Rally and she's popular, so let's go ahead.
Maybe you got two of them. You either got Jamila Jamil from The Good Place or Taya. Her name is Taya Sakar. Taya Sakar, I think, probably would work a little bit more because she's the voice of what's her name on Star Wars Clone Wars. What the hell is her name on the Clone Wars? No, she was on Rebels. Sorry, not Clone Wars, Rebels. Yeah, she was Sabine.
She was Sabine.
She was Sabine.
Okay, Sabine Wren.
And she's still around our age too, so I don't know if she could do it, but she's pretty cute.
All right,
just look her up.
I mean, sure, we'll have to look her up, but you know, that does sound like a very interesting topic for a future time. So
yeah.
That. No, it does. It really does. So anyway, so let's get to the main topic. The main topic is let's walk down video game memory lane a little bit in honor of Dido's great video series that he started to do for almost like on a weekly basis. He was
I think it wasn't weekly. It was every day for like 6 months.
Yeah, it was.
I made a video every day.
Was daily.
Yeah, he was a machine, dude, cranking these boys out, and they were awesome. So anyway, we're gonna start to bring them back, but I wanted to get you guys' opinion. So the PlayStation Classic is on sale for $39.99 right now, and it's easily hackable. You can put your own homebrew software on there and load it up with emulated games. So what are the games that you would load your PlayStation with, like the games that you never ever can stop playing, like from back in the day? Like, what are the games and we're talking like PlayStation backwards. Okay, so let's start right from the PS1 era backwards. What are some of the classic Sharita Jackson? We're not talking about that right now. We are talking about video games. So let's talk about video games. What are the PlayStation 1 and previous classics that you just can't put down?
Combat.
Dude, the original Atari 2600 Combat? Yes.
Combat was fun, dude. I don't care what nobody's awesome. Combat. See, that's back when like okay, it was a one-screen game, but they had them freaking selective variety, or all the different vehicles you could use and all the different things you could do. I was like, okay, I mean, I will give them all sorts of credit for the innovation they had and put in those freaking cartridges, because for you to have like tanks, invisible tanks, ricocheting bullets, flying like planes. It's like they had like a huge variety of stuff you could do, even though it was like like a 4 kilobyte card or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah, I'm like,
dude, it was awesome. It was. Yeah, it was. I would give them all sorts of props for that, because even like Circus Atari, Atari was fun as hell. So I mean, like, I'm not going to lie, like a lot of those old 2600 games I actually liked, though. Like when we hooked up we hooked the 2600 up at the Anime Club and was playing it on the wall. That was fun. Like that type of.
I can't remember. Help me out. Did we have the RF switch on that boy?
You have what?
Did we have the RF switch on that boy?
No, I found a way to put it out to composite.
Okay, awesome. Because man, yeah. I remember that. That was like the earliest. Dude, you thought you were like a TV repairman hooking up that RF switch to the back of them old school TVs, because you had to unscrew the screw and tighten it back on. Dude,
Here's the crazy thing. It was like, and I'm sure all of us have experienced this because we all came up around the same time as far as video games and whatnot. And didn't you always find it weird that like none of your high school or even elementary school teachers could figure out how to hook the VCR up when they bring the VCR to class? I'll be sitting there just looking at them like have you never ever hooked up an Atari or anything? It's just like, how is this hard?
Right.
I was like, dude, this is ridiculous.
I didn't get it. I
never understood that, man.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
And I think it was like you always knew that people in the AV club was just a-holes because they always send the TV up. They'd always send the TV up unhooked. It was like it wasn't already ready to go. They just send it up there. So I always thought that was funny. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the old 2600 games, they it's okay. Granted, they don't hold up as far as graphics and nothing. But as far as just straight playability and fun, for a couple of minutes, man, that things is kind of hard to beat in some instances. But I mean, if I had to move forward, I would probably say Mega Man 2, because I love playing that game. I should speed run it one of these days because that game is actually really easy. That's probably about it. Like Mega Man 2, I would definitely say. Somebody said your mic level's low. That's unusual.
I'm gonna start working on that. I'm gonna work on that. Yeah.
But no, Mega Man 2, Castlevania 1 and 3, Castlevania 4, and Street Fighter 2. So yeah, that's probably my list.
All right, so what about you, the Mr. Great Dadakuji? You got so many games on your wall that you haven't even gone back to. So what are the ones that you absolutely could not stop playing back in the day, like that you'd want to keep coming back to?
Man, there's a lot, dude. I mean, from the NES, because the Atari 2600, I would have to say one of the games I really liked was Kaboom back in the day. I thought that was fun. But like on the NES, I got tons that you just hard to put down. Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I still am a big Mario fan, so all the Mario games that are on Nintendo. I mean, I could go on for days on that.
Yes, we know you could. We know
Sega
you could.
Genesis. Sega Genesis is like Sega Genesis. One of the reasons why I wanted a Sega Genesis is because of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I still love playing those games to this day. And that goes for all of them. If I had to pick one, it'd just be Sonic 3 and Knuckles, even though that's kind of two, but regardless. The Nintendo 64 kind of goes back to Mario. I mean, there's other games in those things that I would love to play, but some of them I haven't touched in such a long time that I think is good. I'm just going through the ones that in my adulthood I went back to play again. But PlayStation Castlevania Symphony of Night I think was great. You know, for fighting games, of course, it was just the Street Fighters and the 3D fighting games like Tekken 3 was one of my favorite for the PlayStation. Wow, it's too many of them to freaking count. My gosh, I'd have to sit down and make a list.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Marcus Smith is cheating though. He's over talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's not
that's a
PlayStation.
PS2. That's a PS2 game, brother. And
Right.
PS2 and Dreamcast game. No, that's the wrong era. Wrong era. So anyway, some of mine would be, and Sharita Jackson, yes, I am ignoring you. Some of mine would be definitely, Metal Gear Solid. I could play that game forever. Like honestly. In fact, that was one of the main reasons why I was trying to get my PS3 up and running, because I got the Metal Gear Solid collection, which has got all of the Metal Gear games like in one solid collection. Like I definitely want to play that again.
I thought they had that for PS4 though. I thought they had that on PS4 as well.
I don't. Not that.
It might have just came out. I think it did. If it just
came out, I will gladly take that one that is still in its wrapping. I will sell that boy, and I will get me the PS4 version happily. Let's see. Another one that I would just is just a classic. Like from back in the day, is the NES version of Bionic Commando. Like that one, the NES version of Bionic Commando was so good. I mean, dude, like a lot of those, half the appeal of those 8-bit games was like the music, because the music was so good. Like back in the day, you had to get really creative, and with those games back in the day, as far as music wise, and you had limited range, but a lot of the game creators or the music directors came up with some masterpieces back in the day. GQ mentioned one, Dr. Wally's stage on Mega Man 2 was just a classic, dude. Is an absolute classic. But no, Bionic Commando would be one. Strider would be another one on the NES that I loved playing back in the day.
Yeah, that was a good Strider game.
But dude, if there is one. If there's one that I absolutely would play endlessly, is Blades of Steel on NES. Blades of Steel was so freaking awesome. Like, and dog, it's like, you're talking about a black kid that grew up in Detroit. The Red Wings were good, but playing Blades of Steel on NES was just freaking sweet. It was just really awesome. It really was awesome. So I definitely put that on my list, but I do love what you said about combat, how much they were able to do with that limited space. One game that kept going on forever on the 2600 and you still love playing, it was like Empire Strikes Back on the Atari 2600. It seemed like you were, because you were on the Hoth stage and you were going back and forth. Honestly, and I never got tired of playing it. I never did. As a kid, I never got tired of playing Empire Strikes Back. And
my brothers hated watching me play that and Asteroids, because I would get in the zone and be untouchable. Like because back in the day you had to take turns. It was all the single player games and whatnot, and it was like. I was, I'm the baby of the family, and like it made zero sense that I was as good at those two games as I was. Yeah, because it would be like, right, how like in Empire you could take 2 hits, and then the third hit was like death. I'm sorry, you could take you could take 2 hits, period. So the first one would knock your shields down, you be orange, and then you get hit again, you're dead. So I would be flying through, taking out Imperial Walkers, a little weak spot with kill up, 1-shot kill. Yeah. We get those all the time. Next thing you know, boom. Running on orange, 3 walkers in a row, no death. You know, they shooting at me, no nothing. Next thing you know, that my brothers are thinking like, okay, they shooting faster, they moving in quicker. He's about to get killed. It's like he's like, dude, you're 6. You shouldn't be. You know, you're done. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, that music would start playing. You get the force, and like it would make you invisible. One through 5 more walkers down, and as soon as that music stopped, you're back full shields again. They used to hate watching me play that game. So
probably because you would never come up off that damn controller, man. He's like, pass the rock, man. Pass the rock. No. Nope.
Hey, hold on. Oh, he corrected. Wait, did he correct himself? Oh, he did correct. Oh, Fallen Marvel corrected him. Tony Young over there talking about Bubble Bibble. It's like, no, it's
Bubble Bibble.
It's called Bubble Bobble. There's some good ones in here, though, man.
There are some really good ones in there. Like Sharita Jackson just mentioned Toe Jammer Earl. Toe Jammer Earl and Earthworm Jim. She mentioned.
Oh yeah, Earthworm Jim.
Marcus Smith double dribble on the NES was unbelievable back in the day. Like, dude, we were running tournaments back in the hood back in the day, playing on the NES, man. Like that was our 2K back in the day, like for real. And you know, everybody always wanted to do the, you know, there was always the one trick where you would dribble the ball, run into the corner, and basically kiss it off the glass and make a 3 every single time. Corner three, untouchable, dude, untouchable. Yeah, so let's see. Crash, I don't remember Crash, but Contra.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Okay, I thought you said Crash, like just Crash, but okay, I thought it was like, did I miss something?
Did you hear that, Ido? Did you hear that? This man doesn't even. That's terrible. It's terrible.
This one we got. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. Never mind.
I've played those Zelda games. I don't like them.
Okay. All right. At least he knew where I was gonna go.
Miss Pac, you haven't seen Fifth Element, so that's a whole different thing. I've played those Zelda games. I just don't like Zelda like that.
Matthew Hartline brought up, what about Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I borrowed that from a kid down the street. That was like one of the few games I ever borrowed, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. Terrible.
I don't know what they was thinking with that one, but dude, one game that one sports games, like, I don't know what it is about sports games on the classic NES, but they were just absolutely fantastic. You had Double Dribble, you had Blaze of Steel, you had Bases Loaded by Jalico, or you had RBI Baseball, but there was the one king of sports games on the NES, Tecmo Bowl. Like,
this is Barry Jackson's show, man.
Yeah, Barry Sanders and Bo Jackson were just too untouchable. Yeah, man. Like, dude, you remember how, dog? Because like people used to like basically say, "Look, you pick Bo Jackson, man, we gonna fight." Basically, you pick the Raiders, we was gonna fight.
I tried that out on the NES Classic. I picked, I grabbed Bo Jackson, who was running circles around. I'm like, this is ridiculous. He was untouchable. He was disgustingly overpowered. But,
yes, he was. Oh, it was great. It was great.
No, Turtles. Okay, now Turtles, the arcade game. Maurice Baker, you got that right. Because if you thought you were talking about the original one was annoying.
Oh man, it was terrible.
I only beat it a few times, but like, oh my god, because it's like, you played the arcade game, and again, I'm still kind of mad that Konami has never come out with a collection of their original arcade stuff. Yes, I know the licenses will probably cost them an arm and a leg, but I don't care. I don't care. Pay that money and drop that disc.
Mm-hmm. Like I was trying to convince Miao Yin to let's do like arcade games that you just absolutely loved playing, that you couldn't stop playing. I would have picked Boot Camp as one of mine. Like Boot Camp, I absolutely loved. Like anytime I would walk over into Main Street Arcade over there, Tel 12, and that Boot Camp stand up was there, I'd play it every time.
Yeah, like Boot Camp was a good game. It was one of those, variety of play and whatnot.
Yeah,
the only thing that was weird was trying to do that last level with that trackball, though. That felt so weird.
Yeah, like when you went out into the world and like, that was that wasn't right. That wasn't right. It wasn't right at all. Fallen Marvel's like Jordan versus Bird. What about Dr. J or Bird versus Dr. J? That was a classic. If you want to go there,
that was the original one,
right?
We're real quick. I'll throw it in. I know it's slightly off topic, but I found a a method. Let's call it a method to play the original Star Wars arcade game, trilogy arcade game, the one that that you sat down and had the had the joystick and everything.
Yeah,
I found that perfectly
emulated.
Perfectly. Yes, and I bought a flight stick so I could play it because damn it, that game was like,
is this a PC version?
Yep. Yep,
oh
PC.
my man, you got to turn me on to that. Oh my man,
yep.
Yes.
Only thing I need to figure out is, I mean, obviously, got to go into the command prompts and invert the axes and all that other stuff again.
Yes, you got to turn me on to that.
Yeah, but the only thing is the particular emulator does not have a force feedback functionality for that particular game, at least as of yet. Nobody's figured it out yet. So, but I'm like, hey, it still matters. Still playing an awesome game.
That was one of the most fun arcade games ever. This is that was one of the most fun arcade games ever. Let's see.
Lethal Enforcers and Sunset Riders people in Virtual Copa.
Yeah, I'm sure he meant Virtual Cop.
I know.
Yeah, he meant Virtual Cop. Let's see. What was I going to say? Somebody had mentioned it. Tony Young mentioned Ninja Gaiden. Obviously, that was also the original. And we're not talking about the Xbox one. We're talking the ones on the NES. Were incredible.
When they taught you about respawning enemies, I think that more so than even Mega Man taught you about respawning enemies. It was just it taught you to hate them. Like don't go off the screen too much. Oh, L, look at L in there checking in, saying Contra. That's agreeable. Contra is awesome. Where Dido played it for the first time. Well, not first time, but
it was the first time I played it back in the day. When I was a kid, I didn't own the game, so I never beat it.
No. It's not even about beating. It's the fact that you didn't know that you could duck. I thought. But here's the thing, though.
That is misconstrued. I knew you could duck.
Not.
I just thought that it is because I just thought that you had to time the jumps through that part. If I find the fucking video, you can put it up there. I still time my jumps through it.
I would give you the world because he got through. Because everybody, here's the thing. In context, Dido brought up a Let's Play video that he did with Contra, the original Contra back on the NES, and he was doing his thing. He was going through the game and whatnot. He was using about 116 of the 100, 30 man. But when it comes down to it, though, and again, I will give him all the props in the world for doing this because he went to the fire stage, which is stage 5, 6.
Yeah, it's one of the later stages. Yeah,
whichever one it is. I think it's stage 6. But he went to the fire stage and was able to get through all of the fire parts without ducking because he did not, he didn't understand or know.
I don't know why I didn't put it through my head just to fucking duck under the fire.
Didn't at least, think to try. Because again, it was comical watching. Because again, it was
funny.
It was a group of us guys sitting down watching it in my basement. We was watching the video, and it was just like we just, we're all sitting there thinking like, dude, he's dying a lot. Because he wasted about a good 20 minutes on this one part. It was just like he's dying a lot. I wonder if he's going to, kind of duck and time it out. And he literally said, "I didn't know you could duck." I was like, you see that look of like,
oh yeah, there it is right there.
So I think he needs to post that video up at some point.
Send me the link. I'd actually play it on the show. We can watch it right now. So
no.
I don't think it's uploaded. I think I just have the video on my what you call it.
So we'll package that one as something and do a little bit of commentary along with it because
that was funny, man. That was funny.
Now here's the thing: I agree with Fallen Marble. Heavy Barrel on the NES was fun, but damn it, Heavy Barrel on the
arcade was
that game was so perfect.
Yes, it was. We could almost do another show on arcade games that we just couldn't stand. And one of the games that I would put on there would be Operation Wolf. As cool as I thought it was to be able to shoot a Uzi, I couldn't stand that damn game. I hated Operation Wolf, man.
Because the arcade one was so inaccurate.
Yeah, it was.
Even you be getting shot at by stuff that you already killed, but it's like, wait, I shot that already. But one of the Dido and I were playing, it was what was it, the title collection that you had or I had or somebody had?
I had the title collection.
We beat that. Like, we sat down and beat Operation Wolf because we were like, we get tired of this.
Yeah, I remember that when you guys were doing those videos, you know, back and forth.
It was the quarter killers. It was like, well, we ain't got no quarters now. Just keep playing.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking.
You don't have a real gun either, though.
Well, hey, we made do. Because, man, looking back, that game would have cost $10 to beat. It was like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, shit, man. You know, I think I'm gonna do a series coming up pretty soon, and I've been talking about doing it for a while. Is basically how much will it take to beat this so and so arcade game without any cheats? That would be. I think that would be a pretty cool series to do.
Oh, we could definitely do that.
I want to do that.
I just watched that video, and it is hilarious me going back and watching it. But yeah, I freaking timed my jumps and got up there without ducking underneath the fire.
I did.
Did we do like a Reddit count of how many times you died? Like in the corner?
I don't know, but you can do it. I can freaking.
We realistically would have to give you an Xbox 360 achievement for going through that without ducking. That has to be a zone achievement. Because the fact that, like I said, most people would never be able to do that. It's because, you didn't have the little barrier thing. You you timed it and without ducking, jumped through that whole section. So I
just don't get why I didn't think to duck underneath the fire.
It happens, man.
I was like, what the hell are you thinking? I don't know. I thought you had to time the jumps.
One of these days, though, I want to play that one Japanese version of the Renegade. I want to play through that.
All right. Yeah. We can stream it, but which one? That game is the arcade version of it or the NES version of it? Because I got the arcade one.
The arcade one. Now, here's the thing. I beat the NES Renegade. It was annoying because they halfway turned it into a River City Ransom-esque, searching around through different rooms to get to the end. I'm like, nah, dude. The game is supposed to just be straight.
Those are all from the Kunio-kun series, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I started getting into the Kunio-kun, so I started collecting the ones I could find. But the thing is, I only wanted the beat 'em ups because Kunio-kun also extended into Super Dodgeball. And I think they also had volleyball.
Yeah, they did have volleyball too. But
I just wanted to beat 'em up ones.
That's another one I will put.
The Super Dodgeball was fun.
Yeah, Super Dodgeball on NES was incredible, man. Oh man, that game was so much fun. It really was. It really, really was. Even had an arcade remake or port that they had that wasn't nearly as fun as the original on the NES. It was so much fun. But anyway, guys, it's after 10 o'clock. We've had a fantastic time talking with you guys about all these awesome topics. We hope you all had fun. And if you did, make sure you tell all your friends about us. We're the Culture Junkies. We do our live show right here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So next week we're going to be back, hopefully with Fallen Marvel and Miao Yin, and maybe even LGZ will be joining us next week. But until then, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We hope you all have a fantastic Valentine's Day, and go and watch Battle Angel, Alita Battle Angel this weekend, and maybe make sure it doesn't bomb so we can get more live action anime movies that are actually pretty good. So for my boys GQ and for the great Atakuji, I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Go to Former Nose, get you one of these shirts.
Play lots of video games.
Well, I think they're going to need a lot more material if I get to wear one of those shirts. Does it come like in a double XL? I don't know.
Yeah, they probably got a double X for you.
Yeah, I'm a sweating that thing. I could probably use the sweat to sweat off a few pounds anyway.